A 6-year-old sandy-haired youngster disappeared from the Sears Hollywood Mall between 12:30 and 1:45 on Monday afternoon and is still missing at this hour.
July 27th, 1981. My mother took me and my little brother to the Sears department store at the Hollywood Mall. It was on Hollywood Boulevard on the north side, less than a mile west of I-95. There's a Target there now. I was 3 years old. My brother was 6 months old. He was in a stroller, and I was a 3-year-old running amok in Sears. There was a toy department, there was electronics, there was video games, there was clothes, and as a kid, what I like to do is run around and the clothing racks. There's kind of a hollow interior, a hollow middle, and you can sneak behind the clothes, kind of duck under there, and you can stand up as a 3-year-old and kind of peek out. And I watched my mother shopping around and pushing my brother on the stroller, and I was hiding from her. She was looking around and didn't see me, and she starts calling out, "Billy, Billy," and I'm giggling my ass off, hiding between these clothes, peeking out at her. I can see her the whole time, and she's starting to panic. "Billy, Billy." I jumped out from behind the clothes to, say boo or surprise or whatever, and she was pissed. I mean, she was pissed because she was scared. That was it. That was the end of our mall day. She was pushing my brother with one hand. She had me by the wrist, dragging me through Sears department store by the other hand. And she is saying, "Don't you ever do that to me. That was so scary. I didn't know where you were. I didn't know what happened to you." And just as we're about to leave Sears, an announcement comes over the PA. "Attention shoppers, Adam Walsh, if you can hear this message, your mother is looking for you.
We'd like you shoppers to help us find Adam Walsh."
And my mother goes, "You see? You hear that? Somebody's mother can't find her son in the store, and she is scared and frantic like I am." Adam Walsh was a 6-year-old boy who was with his mother at Sears at the Hollywood Mall that very same day. She went off to look at lamps, I believe, in the whole lighting section of the store, and she left Adam playing, I think, an Atari video game system in like the electronics section of the store, and he disappeared.
Police say 6-year-old Adam Walsh is missing a front tooth. He was last seen wearing a beige canvas hat at the Hollywood Mall. Tonight, members of the Citizens Crime Watch of Hollywood continue to search for young Adam. Hollywood police detectives track down leads and help groups out scouring the area.
We've invited his parents, John and Reve Walsh, to be in Channel 4's studio in the hope that their words might be heard by the person or persons who police believe abducted young Adam.
We love Adam very much, and we have no vengeance for the people that have Adam. We do not want to prosecute the people. We just want our son back.
And just in case whoever took him wants to drop him off at the mall, they left the family's car in the same spot it was Monday when Adam left it, waiting for Adam to take him home.
And it was, at the time, the most sensational and highly publicized missing child case in the history of this country.
It's been a frustrating 5 days since 6-year-old Adam Walsh was last seen.
Adam is still missing.
We've searched and searched for Adam, and we haven't found a body, so everybody thinks he's alive. We do too.
Two weeks later, Adam Walsh's head was found.
2 fishermen found the remains of Adam Walsh's skull in this canal near Vero Beach, more than 100 miles north of his Hollywood home. Positive identification was made through dental records.
I don't know who would do this to a 6-year-old child. I can't conceive of it. It's beyond the realm of reality.
His body has never been found. His father, John Walsh, obviously became extremely famous for taking on the mission of missing and exploited children, later fugitives through his series America's Most Wanted. But at that time, there was a TV movie called Adam that aired in 1983 on NBC.
They were a loving, happy family until their son disappeared.
I've searched the whole mall and I can't find him.
Every parent's fear becomes the movie you must see.
The 1-2 punch of the case of Adam Walsh, and then this TV movie, which was watched by 38 million people the first time, and NBC aired it every single year thereafter for like 3 or 4 or 5 years. And during the show, during the commercial breaks, they would show photos of missing children.
I'm John Walsh. Our children are safer by the President's signing of the Missing Children Assistance Act of 1984.
It's too late for our Adam, but it's not too late for the thousands of children who are still out there.
What happened from there was basically we'll call it a mass panic. Misinformation, fear, and paranoia kind of gripped the country.
That's not Jenny's dad. If she gets into that car, you may be looking at Jenny for the last time. I'm McGruff, the crime dog.
There was a statistic put out at the time that later in a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigation was found to be total bunk. And the statistic said that 20,000 children go missing every year in stranger abductions.
20,000 kids, one kid at a time, maybe your kid, on your street.
It turned out the real number was closer to like 70. Most child abductions are by people that are known to the person. A parent or a family member takes them. Stranger abductions were not nearly the plague that they were made out to be as a result of this horrific tragedy and crime that happened in South Florida with the Adam Walsh murder. We all became afraid of a boogeyman, basically. One of the suspects in the murder was a drifter and prostitute by the name of Otis Toole.
Otis Toole, a drifter and violent pedophile.
Guy was born in Jacksonville and made his way across the Southeast. He had an IQ of about 75, certainly was a challenged individual, and left a wake of dead people and crimes behind him everywhere he went. He was an associate of another known serial killer by the name of Henry Lee Lucas. Both of them unquestionably murderers who eventually died in prison, but they also were kind of, how should I say, fabulists. They liked to embellish their crimes and adventures, and in fact falsely confessed to numerous crimes.
How many crimes have you confessed to, Otis?
I don't know. I ain't counting.
More than 125?
I don't know.
I see you smiling.
One of the crimes that Otis Toole confessed to was the kidnapping and murder of Adam Walsh. Henry Lee Lucas claimed that he had witnessed part of this and had been in possession of Adam's head for part of those 2 weeks in between the kidnapping and discovery of Adam's head. They both later almost immediately recanted. There was never any witnesses, there was never any additional physical evidence or DNA. And in 2008, long after Toole died, the Hollywood police closed the case.
It is our determination and conclusion that Otis Toole was the abductor and murderer of Adam Walsh.
But through the years, a very compelling theory has arisen. It turns out that that year and that summer of 1981, Jeffrey Dahmer was living in Sunny Isles, Florida, just a few miles away from the Hollywood Mall. Jeffrey Dahmer had committed at least one murder at that time that we are now aware of. He was working at a sandwich shop, and Dahmer had access to a van, like a blue delivery van that the sub shop had, while Jeffrey Dahmer was living in South Florida. There was an attempted kidnapping at a mall in Palm Beach, Florida, of a young boy. The boy was able to get away. Similar to Adam Walsh, he was playing a video game in a store. Someone tried to abduct him. Young man, that man got away. And there is a sketch of that suspect.
The suspect is described as being a white male in his mid-20s, 5 foot 10 inches tall, 200 pounds, of medium complexion, and having dark brown to black hair.
And if you look at that sketch next to a photo or mugshot of Jeffrey Dahmer from that time period, the resemblance is striking. Dahmer was asked about the Adam Walsh murder at the time that he was arrested in the early 90s. He denied that he had anything to do with it, but he was very afraid of the death penalty in Florida. No statute of limitations on murder, and in those days they were still frying people in Old Sparky in Rayford Stark. And so Dahmer was not going to confess to any murders that would put him in a death penalty state. And so while the police have closed the case and while the Walsh family is content with the results of that investigation, the legend, if you will, the mystery, the fear that those of us of a certain age who were growing up, not only in America, but specifically in Florida and South Florida in those days, the fear of the Adam Walsh story lives on, I think, in all of our hearts and minds. It's something I think of incredibly frequently, not the least of which is because, as my mother frequently reminded me through the years, I could have been that victim. I could have been Adam Walsh that day in July of 1981.